Hi, Winederlusters, and today I'm speaking with Bryan, otherwise known as the Travelling Corkscrew. Welcome to the Winederlust podcast. My name's Jeanene and I run a wine events business in Canberra, Australia. In this season, I'm talking to 12 specialists from the wine industry and the travel industry and asking the hard-hitting questions we all want to know leading up to Christmas. What to serve, what to buy, and where to go on holidays. So pour yourself a glass and let's get exploring. Casey has been entertaining us with her wine and travel blog since 2010. While Casey's a Kiwi, she really got into wine while living and working in Dubai, where she completed several wine qualifications. She now lives in the Bellarine Peninsula in Victoria with her husband and young son, and she's also set up her own business, Grand Crew Digital, using her digital marketing and blogging background to help small business with their SEO and Google Ads. I am, for one, am a happy customer of her Wine Blogging 101 ebook. While juggling all this, she's still entertaining us with her Travelling Corkscrew blog and her great Instagram. Casey is all about wine and travel, and that's exactly what I love, and I'm super stoked that she's joining me for a chat today. So welcome, Bryan. Welcome, Casey, otherwise known as the Travelling Corkscrew. I'm absolutely stoked that you're joining me today because I've been a huge fan of yours for a long time.
Thanks for having me, Jeanene. I'm very excited to be on my first podcast.
Now, your experience in the wine industry goes way back. I understand that it all started when you were a high school student and you were working at your local cellar door in New Zealand.
Yes, that is correct. So I think I was about 15 at the time. My parents frequently visited the local wineries. They're big winos themselves. And the owners offered me a job. I did everything from cleaning tanks to labelling bottles by hand because it was a small winery. A little bit of everything. So it was a really interesting start and introduction to the wine world.
And that's a real hands-on sort of introduction, like not just even working in a bottle shop and that's like getting down and dirty, like cleaning tanks and everything. That's great.
Yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
And then you went off to Dubai.
I went to university in Auckland, and when I was there, I worked at a wine bottle shop when I wasn't studying. And then, after that, he's now my husband, who I refer to as Mr. Spittoon on the blog. We're in Dubai for about 5 years, and it was there that I was working in fine wine sales, and I started the blog.
And I love that in 2013 you challenged yourself to try 365 wines throughout the year. I think that's an awesome challenge to set myself. So how did that go?
It was good fun, and it makes me feel a bit old now because I don't think I would even consider doing that now, especially with a toddler running around. With anything with wine, the more you can taste and experience, the more you're going to learn.
And I noticed also on your website, which is such a great resource for me, and you've very kindly listed every single wine holiday of the year, and there's tons of them. So what made you do that?
It was more, I started to see the wine days pop up, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll start a blog post so I personally can remember when they're going to happen. And then since then, more and more have popped up. And like in terms of putting that post together, I like to make sure that I am giving credit to the person or the organization who originally started that day. So people know where they've come from, because there's a lot of things on social media going, it's Shiraz Day today. Oh no, it's not until February. And so it's good to have a resource where you know that the most factual you can get about these.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, because I think it was Rosé that has a couple of days, like one in August and one in another month. And I was just like, I think it's such a wonderful resource. So thank you for putting that together. That's very
No problem. No problem. There's a lot of contention because America has started a lot of the days, like Rosé Day, which they've done in the middle of their summer. But here in Australia, people are like, no, we want it in summer. We don't want to be celebrating it in winter. So, for some of them, there are two. So I just pop both on there, so it keeps everyone happy. And I mean, at the end of the day, if we need to celebrate it twice, why not?
Yeah, that's right. I completely agree. I'm on board. Now, I've also read, I think this is what we've bonded over, is that your favourite grape is Chardonnay. And a lot of people like us love it, but there's a lot of people out there that we still have to convince. So do you have any words of wisdom about this great grape for the non-believers out there?
Or I always ask people who say they don't like Chardonnay, I say, do you like champagne? Do you like sparkling wine? Mostly they come back with a big yes. And I go, well, many of the champagnes and sparkling wines that you drink have Chardonnay in or are 100% Chardonnay. That's when people typically go, okay, it's more than just a, one style. So that's where you can help explain to people that Chardonnay is more than just a big butterball, that you can have a fresh, fruity style. You can have it in sparkling wine. It can be sweet, it can be super dry. And that's why I love Chardonnay. Like, it's just so versatile. There's so much that can be done with it. So that's my thing, is not if you try something you don't like it, try another one from another producer or another style. And every wine is different. It's got their own story, their own flavor profile. So you just got to keep trying wine, which is not a bad thing, is it?
I could take that advice. No, I think that's great. That's great advice, especially like you said, all the different producers do something a little bit different with it as well. So, yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll hit the big questions. So what would we find on your table on Christmas Day? A dish and a wine of choice.
Okay, so I mean, Christmas for me and my family, it's all about the food and drinks, and I love, like, every Christmas Day always starts with us with a barbecue breakfast.
Oh, great!
So I'm from New Zealand, as we've already discussed. If we're around for family who have a boat, then we typically have seafood on the barbecue. Or if, like my husband and I last year, we just did up, bacon, eggs, and we had some fresh croissants, which was lovely. So, and wine of choice is always going to be champagne or sparkling wine for Christmas Day. And I especially find that a rosé champagne or rosé sparkling wine is a great start. Very well with bacon, I find. So my husband and I last year, we shared a lovely grower champagne rosé, and it was just perfect, just because it's so nice and light and all those red fruits are coming through, and for something so early in the morning, it was just perfect. And your palate is so fresh at that time as well, as long as you haven't obviously brushed your teeth right before that.
That's a great way to start the day. So, Casey, do you have a go-to wine gift that you would buy for your wine-loving friends and family?
The Coravin products, I've been sent a few to try. It's amazing technology, like to be able to open a bottle of wine and preserve it. With the new Pivot, you can do it up to 4 weeks, and with the standard Pivot models can be years if they're under cork. So for me, who tastes quite a lot of wine, it's just an amazing product, amazing technology. So yeah, the new Coravin Pivot, I think, should be on a lot of people's Christmas list. So it's still up there in price. I think it's just under $200.
Right.
But it's more affordable than the normal Coravin models. So it's really cool that they've brought out something which is on that sort of cheaper end.
When you said about the price, it made me think about, when you splash out on a fancy dress and it's that cost per wear. So if you only wear it twice, it is expensive. But if you wear it every weekend or, regularly, then you feel like you're getting that value out of it. So while expensive, it's good value if you're using it all the time.
Exactly. And especially if you are one of the people who prefer quality wines over quantity. So you do prefer to splash out and buy nice bottles of wine, and you want to enjoy them, the whole bottle without opening a bottle, having a glass and leaving it for a week and then going, oh, it's off.
Yeah.
with this tool, you can do that, and, invest in a nice sort of $50 bottle instead of a normal $20 bottle, and really enjoy that wine experience. I think obviously as I've got older, you want that quality over the quantity. So yeah, they're just amazing, the Coravin devices. And prior to trying them out, I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool, but I didn't. It wasn't until I actually tried them and saw how they worked and experienced it that I was like, this is amazing. And I've used my normal Coravin and my Pivot really regularly. So, and I've always been one of those people who are like, who doesn't finish a bottle in one sitting?
Until you had a baby.
Kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Until you're getting disrupted like every 2 minutes to go and do this and that, and
exactly.
Yeah, welcome to motherhood. But aside from that, my other go-to gift is always glassware. Like, I love receiving and I love giving glassware because I think it's something you don't really buy for yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a, I guess you could, I don't know, I'm a bit of a wine snob when it comes to glassware. Like, I love my Riedel, I love my plum glasses. And typically every year my husband will give me 2, but like I think last year I got a pair of the Riedel Riesling glasses. I love glassware, and I just think it enhances that wine experience. So when you're having you open a nice bottle and you put it into some nice, opulent wine glasses, it just, it takes it to that next level. And it's definitely, my go-to gift.
Now, you must have tons and tons of recommendations for Australian wine regions, but is there one that you'd like to share with us that you have had a great experience at, or that you like to recommend to people?
Sure. One that is really close to my heart, I guess, is the Swan Valley in Perth. So after we were in Dubai, we moved to Australia. Well, we were stopping into Australia to see my husband's brother, and then that turned into about 6 years in Perth. And we built a house and all of this. So when we were in Perth, I was just amazed when I heard about the Swan Valley. It was only 30 minutes from the city, which I think it's one of the closest wine regions to a major city in the world. I think that the first one is Vienna in Austria. However, I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, wine country is literally right on the city's doorstep. And so we ended up building a house out in the Swan Valley.
Oh, wow. And
we were at the cellar doors every other day, and I fell in love with it, like all the family-owned wineries and everything that they were doing out there. It's a beautiful place, and they've got all your typical regular wines, but then they also do a lot of things like Verdelho, Chenin Blanc. They do quite a bit of Grenache, Petit Verdot, and they've got, of course, their world-renowned fortified wines. So, yeah, it's an interesting region, and it's full of a lot of love, a lot of family-owned wineries, and it's just when anyone asks me, I'm like, it's a must-do, because you cannot go to Perth and not just drive that 30 minutes out. You have to do it. Like, yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. No, WA is the one state in Australia that I haven't yet got to, so that's a good recommendation.
You need to.
Yes. What if they'll let us in one day?
And take a long time. And there's so much. I mean, I love the Margaret River as well, the Great Southern, the Geograph region. Like, it's a fantastic state for wine travel.
When international borders reopen, is there a wine region that you'd like to return to or to visit for the first time?
Because all our families in New Zealand, we definitely want to get over there. And to be honest with you, we haven't really experienced much of the New Zealand wine regions. I know the Australian wine regions far more than the New Zealand wine regions. So that is definitely on my list at some point. If to get back to New Zealand and drop the toddler off at the grandparents, and my husband and I can do a bit of touring around the New Zealand regions.
That sounds awesome.
Would be really nice. Yeah.
So what island are you from? The north or the south?
North.
Yeah, so Hawke's Bay and Martinborough. I've heard very good things about that.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of Martinborough, excellent Pinots, but I'd love to get down south. So I've done a bit of around Nelson, which is the top of the South Island. However, I'd love to get down to Central Otago. That would be high on the list.
Yeah, some of their Pinots. So that's pretty good down there. So
yes, absolutely.
Well, you take care and have a great weekend.
Absolutely. You too, Jeanene.
Thank you, Casey.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe now to get each episode as they drop. Go to winederlust.com.au for everything discussed today. You can also subscribe to my newsletter and hear of all upcoming events, news and merchandise. Till next time, happy wine travels.